recognize some of the GCs that we have in attendance tonight. And I apologize if I forget anybody, so please don't be offended. We have Irsha Karim of Autonomy Capital, Michael Berninsky of Graham Hacking Company, Carol Lee of Taconic Capital Advisors, Parkin Lee of the Rockefeller Group, Bobby Liu, MD SaaS Investor Services, Don Liu, Xerox Corporation, Thomas Sharp, Natixis North America, John Kim of Macquarie Funds Group, Brendan Choo, BBC Worldwide Americas, and Alan Chang of the Yankees. I'm sure I'm good at a lot of you.
I'd like to thank you all for coming, and just briefly I wanted to thank our sponsors this evening, Bingham McCutcheon, Constantine Cannon, Duane Morris, Haynes Boone, feel free to cheer when your turn is called, Mayor Brown, Quinn Emanuel, Reed Smith, and I'd like to thank Veritas Ridge Winery for the wine.
It's really thrilling to see this many Asian Americans in the profession who are both in-house as well as in law firms. It just reminds me, frankly, of how old I am, because when I graduated from law school with John Liu in my class, there were so few Asians that you could count the number of Asians in our class in one hand, and I think, John, we might have been a majority, or at least 50%. So seeing this many Asians in the profession in New York is quite thrilling. I am very lucky to be working in the company that I do. I am Chief Investigative and Anti-Corruption Counsel at GE. Before that, I was Senior Counsel in the Litigation Group. And I have a former background in the U.S. Attorney's Office where I was a federal prosecutor and focused on white-collar crime. So I bring that expertise to GE globally. Luckily, the company doesn't need a lot of us, but there's enough work for someone like me at headquarters to lead in that area in the event we have issues. And probably just as importantly, proactively managing and preventing that risk from occurring within the company. I also lead the Asian Pacific American Forum at GE, which is the affinity forum within a company, and those of you who are in-house will appreciate this. It's an affinity forum that is devoted to the development of Asian talent within the company. So we have about 10,000 Asians across GE in the U.S., and our focus is on really developing that talent, showcasing that talent. We have initiatives also in community service and supporting and driving company initiatives. Lawyers are natural leaders. I would say lawyers are natural leaders in diversity, should they want to pursue that in companies. I encourage everyone to do it. It is very, very enriching and very rewarding. Lawyers are naturally thoughtful, creative, analytical, good advocates, good arguers, and if you're trying to find a path forward and to lead, it's sort of a perfect solution in a company. And so I encourage everybody to get involved with your affinity forums and within their companies, because you can make a huge difference. You know, when I think about my own career and I reflect on what I've done and what's been meaningful to me, I think beyond doing a great job in my day job, finding other ways to really be creative and to lead and to learn is a big part of what I like to do, and I think everyone in this room feels the same way. And I do think diversity is a great way for lawyers to do that, particularly in-house. There's a natural talent you will have and a natural affinity to do that, so I encourage everybody to get involved. I did want to focus a little bit on women in the profession, since I am a woman. I think that women really, in this profession, in general, have made great strides. I do think Asian women, in particular, have also made great strides. But I think we can do more. I think that Asians often as a whole, not just women, are more reticent to reach out for bigger opportunities. Women perhaps are even more reticent within our segment to reach out and to seek bigger and broader opportunities. And I think we want to encourage women to take big steps to grab for bigger opportunities, for more exposure, because that in turn will enrich the profession and will enrich companies and law firms. I think it's important for us at senior levels to really mentor and help younger women in the profession to reach their goals and to find ways to find satisfaction in the profession. So those of us in the room who are in companies as well as in law firms, I really encourage you to try to mentor, both men and women do this, mentor the young female talent that you see coming up in the ranks, because they're the future leaders, really, of our profession. And I think we as Asians are very well recognized for being perhaps the most credentialed and the most educated, and maybe even the best lawyers in the room. But we may not be as good at really pushing for the recognition we deserve. And I think that from my own experience, being able to feel comfortable seeking that recognition and being able to be confident about showcasing that ability is very, very important, and something that may drive us in a way that's outside of our comfort zone. But I think if I look around my company and I see how Asians are regarded, and this is far beyond legal, right? I mean, I represent a forum that is just in a minuscule manner legal. The rest of the forum is much bigger. But everyone acknowledges at very senior levels that the Asians at GE are phenomenally talented and impressive. And yet when I look at the senior reaches of GE, they are not at senior levels and the kind of numbers they should be. And there's a complacency about where Asians are in the organization. And I think we owe it to ourselves and future generations to drive greater accountability by our companies and our law firms about how strong our talent is and how capable our talent is in order to really do better for our companies and also in our profession. So I encourage all of you to be that much more confident about really asserting your value and seeking recognition for your value in a way that fits within your cultural norms and your comfort zone, because I think that your future is there for your asking, but perhaps we're not as comfortable asking as others may be. The more that we expand our reach and expand our networks, the more people you know. And so if luck plays a part in the opportunities that come our way, it's often in part because you know more people who know to tap you on the shoulder for an opportunity. So we need to get out there and get to know more people, cross functions, cross companies, in order for people to recognize not only that you're great at your day job today, but you're great in other ways too. You show leadership in other manners in the way in which that you conduct your professional lives, and they think of you for an opportunity. So I look at my own life, where I went to law school, I ended up in a law firm, I went into litigation somewhat by default because I couldn't think of anything else to do. I worked there for 4 years as a litigator. It was fine. It wasn't great. It was fine. And then a friend of mine called me, who was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and said, "What are you doing there?" And I said, "It's 12 o'clock. I'm working on document discovery." And he said, "Why don't you apply to the U.S. Attorney's Office?" And I said, "What is that?" Because I'd never heard of it before. And he said, "It is the best office in the world if you want to be a litigator." And I said, "Okay." And I applied, having no idea what this job was. And to this day, when my parents reflect on it and try to talk about my career, they say I worked at the DA's office. They have no idea what the U.S. Attorney's Office is even today. And I they figured out that I was a prosecutor, and that's good enough. And they're very proud of that, right? But it just goes to show when someone taps you on the shoulder like that, right? And I just took a leap of faith. Someone I liked a lot from my former firm, who was having the greatest time in his life, in his professional life, called and said, do it, try it. I did it, I tried it, I loved it, right? And suddenly new doors start opening up. And that has happened throughout my career, where people have reached out based on knowing me or hearing about me and wanting to getting to know me, and obviously me being more proactive about my own career, trying to do other things beyond just my day job, because if I did only my day job, I'd be really stressed out. And I find doing other things, like leading APAC, incredibly rewarding and enriching and creative in a different way. It makes me more efficient with my day job and appreciate my day job even more. So with that, I wanted to say that I am very grateful for all the opportunities given to me. I look forward to even greater opportunities in the future, and I look forward to broadening my network even more broadly than it is today. And I hope that all of you will feel the same way. In terms of law firms and how we in-house can help law firm diversity, which I know is a very important consideration for the group assembled today, there's no doubt in my mind that companies have a lot of sway over law firms. And certainly at GE, we do measure how diverse our lawyers are who work on our matters from outside law firms. We celebrate those firms who are particularly good at diversity by inviting them to receive awards, to participate in very significant conferences with the most senior lawyers in our company, to see the benefits that we confer on these firms, to the extent that they really develop talent in a senior way in the law firms we use. And we also discreetly let firms know when we're unhappy with their diversity track record. And I think it makes a difference. So for those of us who are able to promote and develop talent within law firms, to bring them along, to second diverse talent into our companies for assignments, to direct assignments to particular diverse lawyers, and I'm not just talking about Asian lawyers, I'm talking about all diverse lawyers. It helps the profession. It frankly educates our business leaders and our general counsels across our businesses within my company about the depth and breadth of the talent in our law firms that are diverse. And keeping that march on and making sure people are aware of it is something that we continue to do in our company, and we'll continue to do so because they know it's the right thing and they get the best talent working on their matters. So for those of us in-house, I really encourage all of us to continue doing that and to make sure that we continue to promote and develop the best talent outside and keep the pressure on our firms, because that's the way the profession will grow. So with that, I want to thank you all for letting me speak.